Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. Wow. So he jumped out of a plane. He pretty much did essentially some 007 shit. Okay? So Valentine tells Carly, like I said, he jumped out of a plane, knocked out one of the guys, apparently had an inside person to help him out or whatever. And you're looking for a place to stay. Carly's like, yeah, you can't stay here. That's where you're not going to be staying at. Now, one of the things he cites is Donna being there. I'm just like, so let me get this straight. You're worried about Donna now, but like, if this plan or whatever your plan is goes sideways, are you not concerned about that? I mean, I'm just not just saying, like, she's not just citing one of the reasons. You know, towards the end of the episode, she has him stay in the shed. You know how cold it is right now? I'm like, are you gonna give him some blankets or something like that? You're gonna get a little heating thing going on. I'm like, hypothermia is an actual thing. I'm just saying. But anyway, um, they're going back and forth if he's not there trying to convince her to stay. And Jocelyn comes there. See, Jocelyn is with Jack. And Jack Jack gets off the phone and tells Jocelyn that Valentine escaped. And, one of the things that Jocelyn is worried about is Valentine going after her mother to get to Jack. So, Jack goes to the, PCPD and she goes home. When she gets there, you can hear her outside. So, he just goes outside or whatever. And they talk for a little bit. Some of the stuff that she has to explain away, like the fact that Carly had a first aid kit because, he's all like bandaged and bloodied up and everything. Um, and so, after a while, she goes to her room and Carly goes outside. I thought that like he was going to be, because, it's a big house, right? And even Valentine was like, okay, well, listen, I'm good at the spy game. Like, I know how to sit there and avoid her or whatever. Carly's not taking any chances, and she's like, yeah, you could be outside. You could be in the shed, with no heat in December. Um, Now Dante hears this, and he calls Lulu to sit there and tell her, and sends Nathan over there to the house. He also calls up Alexis when Jack gets there. And they question her to be like, "Hey, listen, have you been talking to Valentine and stuff?" And it was just a couple of I don't know, emails or letters and stuff like that, just updating him about Charlotte and what's going on with her, and just because they're still on like friendly terms and stuff. But she's like, listen, I'm not helping him out. I don't really, what I'm saying, like, other than a couple of letters or whatever, I don't understand why he would come to me. But Jack explains because she's a trustee that, hey, listen, you may need some money or whatever. How about I sit there and check your records? And I just started smiling because I was like, good. You can go to jail. Your daughter can go to jail. Ava can go to jail. Rick can go to jail. You can finally move on with that story. I was so happy. I was like, yes, check her books, check her books. But Dante was like, nah, listen, I trust her. She says that she's, not really rocking with him or anything like that. Because at first, Jack is like, okay, we'll put some units by your place or whatever. And she was objecting to that. But, you know, she finally was okay, fine, whatever. Like, she was only objecting to it because she don't, like, she don't want all that noise and all that stuff going on over there, whatever. Plus, I'm pretty sure Scout is over there, and that's not exactly what she needs over there. But just to make sure that Jack don't be sitting there checking her finance records. But you know who should be checking it? Who should be sitting there like checking on that stuff? Laura. I mean, she should have been doing that before she got blackmailed, but Laura should have been sitting there checking. I guess Laura just trusts Alexis absolutely. Um, and she only did it like once. It's really odd, but whatever. Um, I don't know. I guess we'll sit there and get rid of that. I guess we'll sit there and come to a conclusion of that story like in the middle of next year. I'm guessing like maybe April. April. May the most, but I'm guessing like maybe March. Um anyway, so Lulu gets contacted by Dante to let her know that Valentine escaped. And Rocco is outside with Charlotte because at first Lulu was not there like listening in, like eavesdropping, which I'm like, oh, seriously? Um, Rocco just sitting there complaining about his dad, and then he kind of realizes, I'm complaining about my dad and just how extra he's being. Meanwhile, she can't even really sit there and see her dad because he's in jail and everything like that. So he apologizes. Lulu like grabs him pretty much like oh, you got to get in the house, you got to get in the house. And here's the thing, she's not there acting like this dude is Jason Voorhees. My whole thing is like she is explaining to them that Valentine may try to she's trying to make it seem like Valentine's going to come and get Charlotte. But here's my thing though. Valentine told Valentine told Lulu that he allowed himself to get caught so he can hand Charlotte over to her because hey, listen, life on the run is fun for him, but it's not fun for her. So what do you think? He just decided to just change his mind? I mean, she's practically having damn near a near panic attack. Now she does realize, listen, I can't sit there and shop her to a bed to Charlotte. So she's like, listen, if he contacts you, whatever, are you gonna go with him? And I'm like, you asked a question that you really know the answer to, and she does sit there and try to soften the blow by saying, well, I love you. Here we go. Um, But she was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do if he tries to get me. Like, Rocco knows, and Lulu knows. So I don't understand why you gave that answer. Um, and then she's just complaining to Nathan the entire time. I shouldn't have allowed her to visit Valentine and da 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 and blah 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 blah. I'm like, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, Valentine is her father. You can't erase that. That's what you like. It is what it is. Um, Lucas comes home to, pretty much like a romantic sort of settings or whatever with Marco. And they're talking about their day and everything like that, and he's giving them a massage. And then Pascal, like, his thing, he sees that they're just kind of doing their own thing and just being all cozy and everything. So he decides to be a dick and like interrupts them. Like, oh, so do you need food? Do you need this? Do you need that? They need some goddamn privacy. Don't you got some like floors to clean or I don't know, some shelves to dust or something like that? Um, but Luke is like, listen, I am pretty hungry, whatever. Can I just get X, Y, and Z? And he gives him like the illest death stare. And I'm like, bro, I thought towards the end when Marcos came downstairs because Chase came to the place and was like, hey, listen, we need to sit there and start checking stuff. Valentine escaped. And Marcos is like, yeah, whatever, fine. What obviously he didn't sit there and tell Lucas was that Sitwell texted um, Pascal, to be like, hey, listen, they ain't got nothing to hide and it's going to look suspicious if they just pretty much tell Chase to kick rocks or whatever since they don't have a warrant. But yeah, and towards the end, he thanks Pascal for just his help and everything like that, and not saying anything, and worried that he's gonna sit there and lose Lucas if he finds out the truth. And like Lucas done sat there and said that Pascal doesn't like him or whatever, or just giving him the death stare. And I thought he was gonna be like, hey, listen, listen, I get that you're here to have my father and everything like that, but you're not gonna be looking at him with the resting bitch face. That's what you're not going to be doing. I thought it was going to be some sort of some sort of reprimanded or something like that. Instead, he practically like kissing his boots or whatever. So that was a little kind of odd. And the sad thing is that there's a point where they're talking about Carly, and Luke is like, listen, she's just coming at you because of who your dad is, saying that you're practically into the family business or whatever, and I shouldn't trust you. And you can see the look of guilt on Marcos's face. And I'm just wondering, is that guilt going to get to a point where it just becomes obvious and he says something, or Lucas pretty much have to like drag it out of him? Because I feel like that's something that has been going on for a while. And the sad thing is that I don't know if I'm actually going to feel bad. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to feel bad when Lucas finds out the truth. But I do believe that you have to find out the truth the hard way. So, regardless of what Carly Smith is saying, it's the same thing with Kai and Drew. People with Smith is saying, well, everybody else told him how Drew was. And, for me personally, I don't give a shit what anybody else says. I want to sit there and know for myself. I don't go off of gossip. I'm not in high school. I don't do high school bullshit. So I want to sit there and know if this person's a bad person, and I need to experience that myself. So I guess in a sense, I do get where Lucas is coming from. It is what it is. Now Chase had to sit there and wind up going into work because of Valentine and everything. And then you see Nesmith just sneaking around the house eating cold pizza. And he tells Brooklyn that Olivia put him on a strict veggie diet. I was like, please don't sit there and tell me she's gonna sit there and try to convert him into a vegan. I mean, she didn't seem like she was really that fond of Leo, which out of nowhere at age, what, 8 or 10, it's like, I'm a vegan now. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Just take your ass back to the goddamn attic. It's like, please don't sit there and tell me they're gonna try to. She's gonna sit there and try to do that with him. Anyway, the conversation was. I didn't really care for the conversation. It was mostly about Gio and being a grandfather and da da da. It didn't really go anywhere. I'm personally waiting for when he confronts Drew about leaving that man while he was having a heart attack. And I'll tell you the truth, I think that Drew just wouldn't care. Like, yes, I do believe that he thought that he was faking it. But I also could sit there and be like, hey, listen, even if he thought it was real, there's a good chance he could have just simply just walked away. Like seriously, he could have been like, yo, you know what? You're not faking this, and I don't care. So I can believe both. Um, Oh, and Jocelyn and Carly didn't really sit there and talk about too much of anything, except for the fact that there was apparently awkward tension. Um, Carly just went there citing it as far as being upset with Jack for swearing Vaughn to secrecy and not sitting there saying anything about being an agent to Jocelyn and putting Jocelyn's life in danger and blah 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 blah. Y'all know how I feel about that whole thing, so I'm not even gonna go there. Um, no, that's essentially about it. In a nutshell, I mean, I'll put it this way: Cheech was decent today. It was decent. The show actually surprised me. And granted, I didn't get to Beyond the Gates yet, but B&B. I know it's a GH review, and for people that don't watch B&B, they're not going to care. But like B&B broke it. It was it was hella emotional. It you felt you felt it. I will sit there and say that I was genuinely surprised. I was like, wow, this is This was sad, but like it was good, and GH was decent. Yeah, yeah. I need to. I, Frank, Valentine, people in charge. Don't be sleeping on those other soaps. Listen, I got my GH hoodie. Okay, y'all know where I stand. But I do watch all five soap operas, so I'll be sleeping at the wheel or sleeping on the wheel or sleeping on the job or whatever that analogy is that I can't remember. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I am trying something new. I will sit there and say this for the people that have been watching the shorts. I decided to do something a little bit different. And just put it as far as how do I sit there and put it? Instead of just doing a 10-second video, I decided to just like take a whole series, like if I did like 5 videos or whatever, take a whole series and just put it into one video instead of just being 10 seconds. And see if people like that a little bit better. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video, and live stream will be on Wednesday.